Some islands feel like beach escapes. Malta feels like history floating in the sea. Ancient walled cities, golden limestone villages, sea caves glowing blue, hidden coves, cliffs rising above the Mediterranean, and landscapes shaped by thousands of years. It doesn't feel like one island. It feels like a forgotten world, a place where every corner whispers stories from civilizations long past, where the stones themselves seem to remember empires that rose and fell. Most people know Malta for sunshine and beaches, but there's far more here. Ancient cities, secret lagoons, sea cliffs, island villages, and some of Europe's most surprising scenery. Layers upon layers of culture, Phoenician traders, Roman governors, medieval knights, all leaving their mark on these islands, creating something that exists nowhere else. If you love discovering extraordinary places, subscribe. There's much more ahead. Valletta. Start in Valletta, and immediately, Malta feels different. Golden stone streets glowing in evening light, fortified walls above the harbor, balconies layered with history. It feels cinematic, almost unreal, and somehow ancient and alive at once. The entire city was built by knights, planned with military precision, every street designed with defense in mind. Yet somehow it became beautiful. Grand staircases leading to hidden squares, churches with Baroque interiors that take your breath away, palaces that once housed Europe's most powerful order. The city rises from the harbor like a fortress, but inside its walls, life unfolds at a Mediterranean pace. Cafes tucked into stone courtyards, local markets selling traditional pastries, artists working in centuries-old workshops. You don't just visit Valletta, you step into it, into its rhythm, its timelessness. But Malta's coast may be even more extraordinary. Blue Grotto plus sea caves. Then you reach the sea caves, and suddenly Malta changes. Now it feels wild. Cliffs dropping into sapphire water, caves lit electric blue, rock arches sculpted by time, places that feel hidden, secret chambers carved by millennia of waves. The Blue Grotto itself is legendary, a natural arch leading to underwater caverns, where sunlight filters through the water, creating that impossible electric blue, a color so vivid it almost doesn't seem real. Fishermen have known these waters for generations, passing down stories of hidden caves, of swimming through rock tunnels, of discovering chambers no one else has seen. The limestone here is porous, soft. The sea has been sculpting it for thousands of years, creating formations that seem almost intentional, almost artistic. And this is where Malta begins to feel magical, not just historical, but elemental, raw, shaped by forces older than any human story. But the island still hides something even older, Mdina. Then comes Mdina, the silent city, ancient walls, narrow stone alleys, echoes of another age. Once Malta's capital, before the knights chose the harbors, before Valletta was even imagined. The streets here are impossibly narrow, built for horses and carts, not modern traffic, which is why cars are banned, why silence fills the spaces between buildings, why every footstep echoes. The fortifications date back over 1,000 years. Though people have lived on this hilltop far longer, Romans built here, Arabs ruled from these heights, Norman lords made it a center of power. Now it feels suspended in time. Aristocratic families still live behind ancient doors, their palaces unchanged for centuries. Churches hold paintings by masters. Museums preserve artifacts from every era. Walking here feels almost like slipping into the past, into a world where time moved differently, where seasons mattered more than schedules, where communities measure their lives in generations, not years. And many travelers say this is where Malta feels most mysterious. It's easy to see why, because Mdina doesn't perform history. It simply exists within it. Quick question: would you rather wander ancient Mdina or explore hidden sea caves? Tell me in the comments. But Malta has an even quieter side. Gozo, cross to Gozo, and the pace changes. Terraced hills, stone farmhouses, clifftop paths, hidden coves. Suddenly Malta feels rural, timeless, almost secret. The ferry ride itself feels like a transition, leaving the busier main island behind, arriving somewhere that operates on different principles, where agriculture still matters, where families have worked the same land for generations. The landscape here is greener, softer. Hills covered in Mediterranean scrub, ancient olive groves, vineyards producing wines unique to these islands. Villages cluster around Baroque churches, their bells marking the hours, calling people to daily rhythms unchanged for centuries. The beaches here feel more intimate, less discovered. Rocky cubs accessible only by footpaths, sandy stretches known mainly to locals. Waters so clear you can see fish swimming meters below. Farmers still tend their fields by hand. Fishermen still mend nets in the harbors. Life continues at a pace that feels increasingly rare, increasingly precious. And many travelers fall in love with Gozo for that reason alone, because it offers something modern life often lacks: a sense of rootedness, of connection to place, of time measured in seasons rather than seconds. But the cliffs may be Malta's greatest wonder: Dingley Cliffs. Then stand at Dingley Cliffs and watch the Mediterranean stretch endlessly below. Wind, sea, silence. It feels immense and humbling. These are Malta's highest points, nearly 250 meters above the sea. The cliffs drop almost vertically, creating views that seem to reach the edge of the world. On clear days, you can see neighboring islands. On misty mornings, the sea and sky blur together, becoming one infinite space. The wind here is constant, carrying salt spray, the scent of wild herbs, the cries of seabirds nesting on the cliff face. A radar station sits nearby, a reminder of Malta's strategic importance. How these islands have always been watched, always mattered, always stood at the crossroads of civilizations. But mostly the cliffs offer perspective, a reminder that Malta isn't only history, it's raw nature too. Geological forces that shaped these islands over millions of years, weather patterns that carved the stone, ecosystems that evolved in isolation. Standing here, you feel small, in the best way, connected to something far larger than any single human story. And then there's something people always remember: harbors plus villages, fishing villages, quiet harbors, colorful boats, sunset light on limestone walls. There's warmth in Malta, a softness. Places like Marsaxlokk, where traditional boats called Luzzas bob in the harbor, painted in bright colors, decorated with the eye of Osiris for protection, a tradition stretching back to Phoenician times. Sunday markets fill the waterfront. Fishermen sell their morning catch. Families gather at harborside restaurants, sharing plates of fresh seafood, stories, laughter. Or Burgu and Sangli, the three cities, harbor communities older than Valletta itself, where narrow streets wind between ancient houses, where locals still know everyone, still maintain traditions their grandparents kept. The pace here is unhurried. Conversations happen in doorways. Neighbors stop to talk. Children play in squares where their ancestors played. And often travelers remember that feeling as much as the famous places. That sense of community, of continuity, of human warmth preserved across generations. It's what makes Malta more than a collection of sites. It makes it a living place, where history isn't just remembered, it's inhabited. So what makes Malta unforgettable? It's the contrasts: ancient cities, sea caves, clifftop worlds, island villages, Mediterranean blue everywhere, all woven into one place that feels somehow beyond its size. How these tiny islands contain such variety, such depth, such layered experience. You can walk ancient fortifications in the morning, swim through glowing sea caves by afternoon, watch sunset from prehistoric cliffs, dine in a harbor village by evening, all within a few kilometers, all feeling completely different, yet somehow connected, part of the same extraordinary tapestry, the same story told in different voices. And maybe that's why Malta lingers, because it doesn't feel ordinary. It feels discovered. Like something you found rather than something that was waiting. A secret the Mediterranean kept. A place that reveals itself slowly, generously, to those who take time to look, to listen, to wander without hurrying. The islands reward that kind of attention, with hidden courtyards, unexpected vistas, conversations with locals who share their Malta. The one beyond the guidebooks, beyond the famous photographs. The Malta that exists in daily rituals, in seasonal celebrations, in the quiet moments between the tourist sites. If you enjoyed exploring Malta, subscribe for more journeys like this. And tell me, what part of Malta would you want to see first? The ancient streets of Valletta? The glowing caves of the southern coast? The silent alleys of Mdina? The rural peace of Gozo? Or perhaps the dramatic cliffs where land meets sea? Share your thoughts below, because every traveler's Malta is different. Every visit reveals something new. And that's perhaps the greatest gift these islands offer. The promise that there's always more to discover. Always another layer, another story, another moment that takes your breath away. Malta doesn't give up its secrets quickly, but for those willing to explore beyond the obvious, beyond the first impression, it offers something increasingly rare in our world. A sense of wonder, of connection to the past, of landscapes shaped by time itself, and communities that remember who they are. That's what makes Malta unforgettable. Not just what you see, but how it makes you feel. Like you found something precious, something worth protecting, something worth returning to, again and again.